All right.
I have to keep this right here.
Welcome back to the Jackie Griffin Show. I'm your co-host Darnell Lee, along with the lovely Mrs. Griffin. Thank you for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. We have another guest who's on. He's on his own staffing company. Ladies, get yourself together. He's a model. He's already coming into the studio with a model ladies trying to get on. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Andre Anderson.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome,
Thank you, sir.
welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
What an awesome introduction.
Sorry about we thought we need to get more security. We didn't know it was
I just hope I can live up to it.
Yes, sir. So, who is Andre? I mean, tell us talk more about your company. As an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and we all entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about your staffing company, and then we'll
Sure.
come back and talk about who are you.
Sure. Well, I've been in the business for we're going on 8 years now, and I started, pretty much right after I left school. One of those things that sort of I didn't plan on getting into it. Kind of one of those things that you start out in sort of an apprenticeship. You sort of learn the business, and eventually, I was able to land my own branch. And so since then, over the last 3 years now, I've been running my branch out of Greenbelt, Maryland. We specialize in staffing for accounting and finance professionals. Also do some administrative roles as well. Everything that we do is on a contract or contract to hire basis, and also offer direct hire services as well. So really, we work to kind of service all sort of industries, providing them with accounting professionals, especially as we approach, the end of 2014 here. There's a lot of tax prep work and things like that are coming up. So
Now, before we move any further, let's talk about where you grew up at.
Mhm.
And ladies, he also played football, college football. So let's talk about the early years of Andre.
Sure. Well, the early years, they start back in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
I was born and raised there. I spent the majority of my life there. 3 years in Georgia, and some more, and then the rest of that was in Florida. And I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship in football, and I attended the University of Rhode Island. And there I played defensive back. I majored in economics. I've always been a sort of a finance guy. I wanted to, work and learn and be very close to the money. So that's why I chose economics as a major. And once I left school in 2005, I came here to Washington D.C. and decided to launch my career.
So you was a DB. What you went to 40 years?
Oh my.
It's like the NFL team needs some help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I was a cornerback, and so I ran a 4.4. I played a little bit of safety, but mostly corner. And I was a 4.4 guy, So I was pretty quick. Yeah.
You catch Dorset too?
No, he's pretty quick. he's pretty quick, but I can run with him though.
So who do you think is one of the best corners in the league right now?
The best corners in the league right now. I'm a huge fan of Patrick Peterson. He's from my home state of Florida. I like Joe Hayden, who's a local product. He's from Maryland. He's a very good guy. The best person right now, I don't know. Based on stats, I assume we would go with the guy Sherman out of Seattle. But he has a defense that helps him out as well. But as But as of right now, I would say he's probably the number one guy.
You ain't no super. You ain't none of that.
Nah.
Oh gosh, I think Richard Sherman would be really pleased with you right now. Okay.
So you spoke of playing football and talking about growing up in Orlando, and you relocated up here. And what made you become an entrepreneur?
Honestly, the opportunity was there. I spent some time down in Houston, Texas. I've lived here through 2007 and 2009. I moved to Houston, Texas, and that's really where the idea sort of came to me, and it really sort of sparked, that I could, be successful, as an entrepreneur myself. And so with that, when I came back to the DC metropolitan area, I wasn't necessarily looking to get back into staffing per se, but I knew it was going to be something in relation to in relation to finance. And fortunately enough, I was fortunate enough to land an opportunity, with my current organization, able to kind of branch out and do my own thing. So I would say about 4 years ago, the idea came to me, and since then I've been again fortunate enough and blessed enough to have the opportunity to take advantage of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When you was in college, did you ever think about owning your own company?
Not at all, not at all. I was more of a guy that, I would purchase the company, but I would hire someone else to manage it. I'm not so much of the management type. I just kind of want to sit back and, let things happen. But honestly, as I've matured over the years, managing people and running a business is something I've sort of grown and matured into. Not something that I thought about, during my college years, but as I've become more mature, it's become more of a passion of mine.
Well, we have an Ask Jackie segment of our show, and we're always looking to see what questions they're filtering in for us to ask our guests. And I want to see if we have any for you.
Okay.
Let me get this for you. And sorry for the delay.
And if you remember, don't forget, on Twitter, I'm Mama Griff. And on Facebook, I'm Jacqueline Griffin. So if you have any questions for our guests or anything that you want us to even talk about, send it to the Ask Jackie segment. What is your hiring outlook for 2015?
For 2015, things are definitely shaping up very well for the job seeker. So anyone who's looking to find an opportunity, maybe to look for a change in environment, 2015 is a very solid year for you to do so. As the overall unemployment rate continues to decline, we sort of move away from the years of 2009 and 2010. We were in a deep recession to a more candidate or job seeker friendly market. So if you're looking to make a move out of your current situation, or if you're unemployed looking for a new situation, 2015 will definitely be a good year to do so.
One viewer says, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see from job seekers?
Probably the biggest thing that I see is that once job seekers find a job, they sort of let their network go by the wayside. When you're looking for an opportunity, you're networking, you're calling, you're sending resumes, you're doing all these different things, you're meeting so many different people, you have so many different interviews you go on, and you go through all that and you build a network of contacts and people you've met throughout that entire process. And once you find or land a job, you sort of, they tend to not keep up, with those contacts. And I think that, the people you meet during your search are some of the most important people that you could ever meet, because you never know when the time may come again when you may need to reach out to those individuals once again for an opportunity. So I would say probably the biggest thing I notice is that people tend to let their network that they work so hard to build, they let it go once they actually find an opportunity.
Let me ask you a question, because I notice as a business owner, it's like it's a myth that some people think because we're in the 21st century that they don't have to come prepared for an interview. What is the proper way of coming to an interview? Because I've seen some people come into my organization with T-shirts and jeans on asking for a job. I mean,
you would think in the year 2014, almost 2015 now, that individuals would know that the proper attire to show up to an interview would be, if you're a gentleman, shirt and tie, suit if you have one, or at the very least a shirt and a tie if you don't own a suit. And for women, it's a little bit different for women. For me, because I'm a man, but just a nice pantsuit or a skirt that's hopefully not too short, heels that are less than 6 inches, hopefully closed toe, hair. No stilettos,
Get the job first, right?
Exactly. So you want to be, rule of thumb is you want to be as conservative as possible on a job interview, So I would, as much as I can appreciate different hair colors and nails and things like that and piercings, probably not the types of things you want to wear on a job interview.
To a job interview, you look like a rainbow supermarket with your hair.
Yes, exactly. So we run workshops through my office in which we coach individuals on how to properly go about interviewing and seeking a job, proper etiquette, things to ask during the interview, what to and what not to ask, things like that. So a lot of people just have never had that training before. I know that some high schools now are starting to implement classes and programs in which they teach students how to properly go about a job. I work with an organization called Junior Achievement that actually teaches students even at the middle school level, proper etiquette in the workplace, and also trains them for life. You know, so I think that, you know, as the years go on, we'll see a much more educated and better candidate base.
Do y'all teach them about time? You know,
Timeliness.
timeliness. You know, being prompt. You know, like if your boss say be to work at 8, you should be there about 7:30, 7:45, and not 7:59.
59 seconds.
Yeah, yes. We do that. We do that. That is also another hot topic. But you know, I think one thing I realized is that, you know, for some people, the timeliness thing, it's almost like it's built in. You know, some people are just chronically late and just, you know, one of those things.
You know, I was told by someone that as professionals, they shouldn't have a time limit on it as long as they get the job done. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think companies nowadays are starting to be a lot more flexible than what we've seen in previous years, allowing time, you know, for individuals to come in, you know, any time throughout the business day, you know, whether it be from 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 or, you know, 9 to 6, or however you choose to get your 8 hours in. Companies are now being more flexible with that. And then also, you know, especially here in this area within the DC metropolitan area, which is probably a lot more sophisticated than some other areas that I've worked in before, allowing workers to work from home, you know, over the computer, telecommute, so on and so forth. You know, we're seeing a lot more happening now in what we call the virtual office space now, because, you know, you can log in from home, you know, have all the access you need to your documents at work. So it's definitely becoming a lot more friendly towards that.
Do you think that more people about telecommuting, they gain more production at home than they would in their office?
That's a hard one. I would, from my personal view, I always feel as though I get more done in the office than at home. Simply because you have more at your fingertips, you know, whether it's going through a file cabinet and looking for something, or whether it's, you know, reaching out to your coworker and saying, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. You know, at home there could tend to be more distractions. So, you know, I'm always an advocate of going to work if you can, you know. But, you know, obviously there's individuals that work in different spaces than I do that may benefit more from working at home than I would, you know, as a finance professional.
Okay. Yeah. Now, we currently have a case going on right now in the Supreme Court with UPS. A young lady was pregnant, and UPS asked her. She came in for light duty, and UPS told her that the doctor wanted her to not to lift over 23 pounds. And right now, the courts felt that the UPS did not discriminate against her, but right now it's in the Supreme Court. Do you feel that employers, including myself, need to make more room for more policies amicable for women that's having a child?
Yes, I think, you know, with some of the things that we've heard recently, through Congress and things like that, they are putting forth more initiatives that are there to assist, you know, women that may be nursing or soon to be nursing, making more provisions for maternity leave and things like that. You know, I think as the workforce continues to evolve, you know, and women become an even larger part of it, especially in some of our C-level positions and management and things like that. Executives, you know, we're making more. Making it more easier for them to take that time off and make sure that they have what they need in the way of childcare and things like that. And again, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, you know, with the ability to work from home and telecommute and things like that, you know, that's going to make it a lot easier for many of our female, you know, viewers and candidates and workers and so forth to hopefully manage, you know, the job and then the family, which we all know is a very tough thing to do. But I think in the next 10 years or so, we will see a lot more legislation that's going to help us to move forward with that.
So the Department of Labor will be having some more laws coming out
Yeah.
for all companies.
Yeah.
Now, as an owner, what are some of the mistakes that you see companies make?
I would say in the current environment, many of my clients still think that we are sort of in a recession, and that there are just, you know, a number of qualified candidates that are still out there seeking jobs, when in fact, you know, that is not the case. You know, so what I'm seeing, the biggest mistake I'm seeing right now is that a lot of companies are sort of taking their time and trying to hire the right person, because you keep waiting to see who's next up, who's better than the person you're currently getting. There's not a ton of qualified professionals that are on the market right now. So when my clients come to me and they ask for an accounting or finance professional, and they say, hey, who do you have? If I send you my top 2 people, those are my top 2 people. There's not 3 or 4 more that are gonna fit the bill. So I think that companies need to make certain that they when they see something they like, they move on it quickly, because trust that if you're not going to make a move on that candidate who has the great pedigree with a degree and has 4 years of experience and everything else that you're looking for, if you're not going to make the move, there's someone else that is. So you definitely want to pounce on the good candidates while they're available.
And I can concur with that, because I am a user of this company,
Mm-hmm.
and have several of its employees that I use for this company's agency, and they're doing a great job. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman here, we have another question, but he's doing tremendous jobs at his establishment. And the question came up, I'm gonna cut my throat. The lady wanted to know, are you single? Came through.
No. I do have a girlfriend. Soon to be. Well, I won't mention my plans, but I do have someone I am involved with at the time.
He's taken. Oh, he's taken. All right then. Another question that came up was about the temporary employees. How important is it for people to the temporary employee market out there? How good is that market? Or is everyone looking for permanent employees?
I would say it's really good right now, because in this year alone, we've done more temporary to full-time conversions in this year alone than we've done in the past 2 years combined. So what we're seeing is that earlier on in this year, a lot of companies were still a little bit timid about making that full-time hire and making that investment in a full-time employee, not knowing what the future would hold, not knowing how the economy would turn out and things like that.
Why do you see them being timid about hiring?
Well, one of the reasons is because the Affordable Health Care Act, not everyone has fully embraced it or really wrapped their arms around it and really understand how it's going to affect their business. So one of the avenues that you can do or avenues that you can take is through the temporary market, because you can still have a full-time employee there that doesn't count towards your head count. Right. So a lot of companies have sort of taken that route until they sort of figured out how ACA is going to affect them and how they should move forward. So that's one of the big things that we've seen. And then beyond that, the economy has fortunately continued to improve. So clients that may have had a contract worker there for the last 3 to 4 months, they finally now have the confidence to bring that person on full time, because they feel as though the business will continue to move forward and revenues will continue to grow.
Yeah, I can talk about that as well, because as an owner, if I don't want to have my books too heavy, and I don't want to pay the affordable health care, I don't want to pay any benefits, the dental, whatever, I call you, and then I'll do a contract review.
Certainly. And
let you pay all the expenses and everything, and then you take care of that. And all I do is just write a check to you every month, or however we have it structured. In fact, now you have to take care of the benefits, and we just go ahead and write a check to you to make it easier for both of us, and we have a mutual agreement, and everybody's happy at the end of the day.
Wow. Certainly. That's how it works. I mean, that's how we're a resource, because with temporary staffing, we're a variable cost. You turn it on and turn it off as you please. Once you have a full-time employee there, that's not a fixed cost. It's going to come out every single month. So that's the benefit of using temporary staff.
And that cost grows, because even if you're paying a person $50,000, by the time you add the health, welfare, the benefits, 401k plan, leave, and all like that, that person's up to about $75,000, $80,000. But if you just go through your services, you just paying what the actual fee is going to be.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about the additional cost. You save yourself some Christmas money.
Right.
So the businesses save themselves some Christmas money, as you say. But how does that affect the employee?
The benefit structure, or
Just being temporary. They might have a job today, and then 6 months or however long that contract is, the job is gone.
Okay, sure. The way it benefits the employee is that, for a person who's working on, let's say it's a 3-month contract, and they go to W&T Travel Services, and they work with Mr. Lee for a period of time. For them, it's almost like an audition for a full-time role. Let's say the person goes there, does a great job, and Mr. Lee decides that he wants to keep this person on full-time. But if not, and the contract does end in the stated 3 months, that person then moves on to the very next contract. But what it does is it allows for us to provide this person with income and employment during their job search. So essentially, you're working, through a temporary contract, but also still looking for a full-time opportunity. So in the event that Mr. Lee decides that he doesn't want to hire you, there's always someone else that still can. So.
And on that note, we'll be right back after commercial break.
Author of The Parent Code of Conduct and Diamond Vice President with Tracy Lynn Jewelry. I need you to tune into the Jackie Griffin Show Wednesdays at 11 a.m. You can tune in at www.rg3mom.com or WPBnetworks.com. See you there.
Say welcome to the brand new you. I welcome you to the Jackie Griffin Show. Say welcome to, I am so good, the brand new you. Looking where I've been. I welcome you. Welcome to the Jackie Griffin Show. Say welcome to the brand new you. I welcome you to the Jackie Griffin Show. Say welcome to, I am so good, the brand new you. Looking where I've been. I welcome you. Welcome to the Jackie Griffin Show.
Welcome back to the Jackie Griffin Show, and we're still here live on set with Mr. Andre Anderson. And we have another one of those questions from our viewers, and you say local employees should be concerned about retaining top performers right now. Why?
Well, in any organization, keeping your best talent is probably the best thing you can do for an organization, whether it's mine or anyone else's. So what happens, as the economy continues to improve, your top performing person in accounting or IT or whoever it might be, may start to get calls from recruiters like myself, for instance, that say, hey, are you happy with your current situation? So you definitely want to focus on retaining your top performing employees and keep those individuals happy, and not just necessarily in monetary compensation, but also with time off. Other benefits, maybe a ticket to the Wizards game, things like that.
Okay.
So you want to focus on all those things to keep those employees happy.
How do you choose a good staffing company?
How do you
What
choose?
do I look for? If I'm Joe Blow or Susie May, and I want to get my resume to a good staffing company that can help me, what are some of the things I need to look for?
Sure. I mean, as a job seeker, you want to first identify what is your niche. What do you do? Are you legal, IT person, HR, whatever your niche might be, and then you want to find the firms that specialize in that particular niche, and then those are probably the first places you want to go because they're looking for people like you. So again, I do all accounting and finance. So if you're an accounting and finance professional, I'm the firm or the person that you want to talk to. So once you do that, then you also want to identify, who those firms working with. How well known are they? What industries do they service? There are some organizations or some firms that may only service government, may only service nonprofit, what have you. So you just want to make sure that you target the right firm, and then once you do that, you just want to go there, and make sure you represent yourself in the best manner possible, and put your best foot forward in order to land an opportunity.
Thank you.
What industries are hot right now?
Right now, well, I can only speak for the DC market. I have lived in Houston for a couple of years, so I can speak a little bit about that. But I can say here in the DC market, the biggest thing for us right now, or for me right now, is government contracting as well as nonprofits. We saw a little bit of a lull in the sort of government contracting and consulting space last April, due to the furloughs and things like that. So what we're seeing now is a lot of these firms are sort of starting to play catch up a little bit. So we've probably had an influx in our business from government contracting as well as some of our nonprofit groups. So as of right now, I would say those are the two most hottest industries.
Which is most popular right now? Out of those two entities, which ones do you think is most popular?
Here in the DC market, everyone wants to be involved with the government in some way, shape, or form. Unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. My firm doesn't possess a facilities clearance yet, but we're working on that. So we don't work directly with the federal government, but we do deal with a number of the contractors. Many of our candidates will take that. We'll take that in lieu of working directly for the federal government because they see that as sort of a way in. So the most popular is definitely working with the federal government. For various reasons.
Have there been more people turning to temp agencies?
Recently, I don't know if there's been more people. Of course, as unemployment rises, we see more candidates. But over the last couple of years, I wouldn't say that there has been more people turning to us. We generally have a pretty steady candidate flow. But I will say that there have been more companies turning towards temporary agencies now. Again, for the reasons I mentioned before, with the whole Affordable Health Care Act that's happening right now, uncertainty about the economy, and for those reasons, we've seen more business in the last 18 months than we've seen previously.
How important is it? You have a lot of young kids that are graduating from high school. Some are going to college, some aren't. How important is it for these kids to have degrees when they're out there trying to find jobs or coming to your agencies? Is that a requirement that they have a degree? And what level of degree do you suggest that they should seek for? Because, a lot of times college is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of kids that, just get out of high school or might be really good high school students but just don't want to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice to those kids?
Well, to answer your first question, you don't need a college degree in order to work with us. All you need is a good work ethic and a smile on your face.
Okay.
But outside of that, you don't necessarily need to have a college degree in order to be successful. I do recommend some form of education, whether you choose to go to a vocational school and pick up a trade or what have you. Maybe you take up an apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. I would say for anyone who's graduating high school and may not be considering college or just wants to enter the workforce directly, find what is it that you're passionate about. Find is what you're good at, and really focus on that area. Because as your career grows on, and as you grow into adulthood, you want to have something that you specialize in.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're a job seeker in your later years in life, you want to say that I am an expert carpenter, I am an expert accountant, I do whatever it might be, but have something that you're good at. I see a lot of some of our younger generation, they come to me for job opportunities, and they don't really have an area that they're in. They just kind of just want a job. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, but the thing about that is that when you don't necessarily commit to a particular area, you're always going to be looking for a new job,
mm-hmm.
because you don't necessarily have an area that you really specialize in, that you're good at. You just take whatever whatever comes available. So my advice to any young person out there looking for an opportunity who's just graduating high school, maybe just out of college, have something that you're passionate about, that you specialize in, that you can speak to during an interview as to your skill set.
That's good because I went to vocational high school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a carpenter by trade.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Phelps Vocational High School.
Mm-hmm.
I came out of high school. I went into an apprenticeship program.
Mm-hmm.
Worked 4 years apprenticeship program.
Mm-hmm.
In my third year, really became a journeyman, and I got my journeyman license as a
Mm-hmm.
certified carpenter. And from there, I started my own business on the side, doing carpentry work on the side. I go out work construction.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, it's like a lot of people are getting away from the construction industry. And more people, you're seeing the unemployment is going down now because you have more and more buildings going up. You have more buildings, you have more entities that's expanding. And in the DMV area, you have billions of dollars that's been going around in the industry as far as building You have the Katera
Mhm.
that's building here. You got the MGM Grand Resort,
Mhm.
and there's more and more jobs that's coming. How have you found it to find qualified workers to fit those positions?
In the fields of construction and more of the labor industries, although I do get a ton of requests, from my clients for individuals that have, those sorts of backgrounds. Unfortunately, I only service, the accounting and finance and administrative arenas. I do tend to refer them out to other firms who do actually specialize in working with construction workers and people of that sort of background. But unfortunately myself, I haven't had too much of experience with, individuals in construction.
And let me ask you some other questions. As far as outside of the business, what do you do for fun? What is a weekend like with Andre? What do you do to relax outside of business?
Well, for me, I'm a weekend warrior. So, I play flag football on the weekends. I'm very active. I participate in marathons. Walks for various causes, whether it's breast cancer or an AIDS walk or whatever it might be. I support various causes. So I'm a very, very active person. I enjoy, getting out to the movies just like anybody else. I'm a pretty low-key person. But if anything, I would say mostly just doing active activities, walking, running, flag football, or just a night out at the movies. That's my weekend in a nutshell.
You talked about some of the community services that you're providing with these organizations. Let's talk more about the organizations that you're working with kids and advocacy. You want to expand more on that?
Well, one of the things that I participate in is Junior Achievement. I mentioned a little bit earlier, and Junior Achievement is a program that focuses on kids at the middle school level and basically preparing them for life. And so what we have is a facility that's in Fairfax, Virginia. It's actually very, very neat if you ever get a chance to visit it. It's an actual facility set up as it's like the real world. And so for a seventh grader or an eighth grader who's going into high school, this facility teaches you about real life experiences. So from buying a car to getting a mortgage for your home to interviewing for a job to just all kinds of things that you're gonna face as an adult, and there's different workshops throughout this entire facility that they go through in order to sort of learn, how much it costs to buy a car, how do you balance that against your mortgage, how do you balance that against, having a credit card and things like that. Are you going to college? Are you not going to college? Things like that. So it's a very, very neat facility. So I'm very, very active, with Junior Achievement because I really believe in what they're doing and preparing our young people for adulthood. Whether they choose to pursue college or not.
What made you get involved?
Well, when I first moved here, it's one of the first things I really got involved with. I used to coach youth football for a program called the Unity Thunder out of Silver Spring, and so I coached football. And many of the coaches that I work with, they were a part of Junior Achievement, and so they sort of brought me into the fold. And it's kind of one of the things that I used to really build my network when I first got here. So I was coaching football, and I heard about Junior Achievement, heard about their cause and what they do, and something I was definitely interested in. So I went and met with the representatives from Junior Achievement, and they sort of showed me what they do. They showed me the facility, and I was bought in from there.
Wow, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So you're very passionate about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a very realistic look at life, for a person who's 13 years old, So, our young people won't leave high school not knowing what to expect.
What drives you?
What drives me is really just to be successful. Is really just being a good example. From my family, my siblings mostly. I have 3 younger sisters that all look up to me. So. The reason I get up every day is to make sure that I'm setting the example, for them, and that they always have a person to look to and rely on, and it really just continue to make my family, my parents proud of me. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, and to really thank you, and to really have success at this level. So what drives me is to continue to make sure that I continue to achieve and make them proud.
So are you the only boy?
Yes, I am.
Are you mama's boy?
So, some would say that.
That's not a bad
So
thing.
some would say that.
Stand up. He was a mama's boy.
Yeah. So some would say that. I have a very, very close relationship with my mother. Yeah, exactly. I have a very close relationship with her.
That's good. So give a shout out to your mom and dad. You can say their names and your sisters.
All right, my mom, Deidre, I love you. I miss you. I'll be home soon. My dad, Michael. I'll be home soon. I know I just saw you last week, but I'll be back again. And my sisters, Tyra, Andresa, Sienna, you guys be good. And just know that I'll be home to see you guys soon. I love you all.
Oh, and don't forget your girlfriend.
Yeah, and of course my girlfriend Monica, who is with me every single day. I appreciate all you do for me and making me a better man.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Now, I'm gonna give you a question that I'm always asked. What makes you successful, and why do you think you're successful?
Honestly, Mr. Lee, I would say it's just attitude. I tell many of my friends from back home, the thing that separates one from another is simply your attitude and your willingness to go out and achieve something. I feel that every individual has the ability to go out and achieve, and whatever it might be, whether it's athletics, academics, whatever you choose to do. Every individual has a capability. It's about the mental want to. So one thing that's always driven me is again making sure that I continue to achieve and set the standard and set the example for my younger siblings. So for the most part, I think that what's made me successful is just having the right attitude about things, and really seizing opportunities. In each person's life, you're given a certain amount of opportunities. Whether or not you choose to take advantage of those or not is completely upon you. And I've been fortunate enough to A, recognize those opportunities, and B, take advantage of them.
Do you feel successful?
Do I feel that way? Honestly, I would say 10 years ago, I would have felt very successful to be where I am right now. But I do feel good about where I am right now, but I feel that there's so much more ahead. So do I feel successful? I feel pretty good about it, but I feel there's so much more to do.
Who were some of your role models when you was growing up that you looked up to?
Well, my mother. My mother was an extremely hardworking woman, and I think that's where I got my work ethic from, because there was nothing that that would set her back, from achieving whatever she set her mind to do, and she always really pushed me early on as a child. So she's definitely one of my biggest role models. And then my father, he really sort of groomed me into manhood, so I certainly appreciate all that he's taught me and all the things that he's showed me over the years. And so I would say, collectively, it's my parents together.
I like that because Charles Barkley had one of the best commercials that ever came on television.
Mm-hmm.
I am not your role model.
Mm-hmm.
I get paid to run to raise havoc on a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
It's your parents. That's your role model. It's going to mold you and shape you and groom you. And those were my role models. That was a great answer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
So what's next for you?
well, next for me, hopefully I'm gonna continue to close out 2014 pretty strong. Gonna have some year-end meetings here, and looking to gear up in 2015. Hopefully expand out into more areas. We do a lot of our business in the Prince George's County area. Looking to get more so into the Southern Maryland area. We haven't done a ton of business out that way, so. For us, it's really about expanding our operations and really getting the message out about what we do, what we can provide, and and hopefully being able to assist more customers in the year of 2015.
Ms. Griffin actually was next for you. You want to try this on?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Can you give our viewers your information?
Sure. I can be reached at our website is at accounttemps.com, www.accounttemps.com. That is ACCOUNTEMPS.com. My personal email address is Andre, ANDRE.Anderson, ANDERSON, at accounttemps.com. Or just give me a call at 301-513-9628.
Can you repeat that again?
Absolutely. Andre Anderson, my email, Andre, ANDRE.Anderson, ANDERSON, at accounttemps.com, and accounttemps is spelled ACCOUNTEMPS.com. And you can also reach me via phone at 301-513-9628. And again, Andre Anderson at 301-513-9628.
Now, are you on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram?
I am on Twitter. My Twitter handle. I'm not the most tech savvy person when it comes to social media, but my Twitter handle is Jobman. Jobman, JOBMAN PG for Prince George's County. At JobmanPG at Twitter, however it works. Mm-hmm. But just look for the Jobman on Twitter.
At Twitter.
Yeah.
You got Facebook too?
I don't have Facebook yet. I don't have Facebook and Instagram, but I do a lot on Twitter and then also on LinkedIn. Look me up on LinkedIn. All you have to do is look up Andre Anderson on LinkedIn. My name pops right on up, and you can always feel free to connect with me.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn too, y'all. Just look up my name. That is awesome. So, with these last few moments left, can you look in the camera and speak your heart to our audience?
I would just say that, for individuals out there that are, looking for an opportunity, a job opportunity in the Prince George's County area, Southern Maryland, certainly feel free to reach out to me. Again, you have my number at 301-513-9628. If you've had a tough time, finding opportunities, again, give us a call. We would love to be a great resource to you. And for any of our companies or clients, small business owners out there that are maybe looking for, additional help, certainly feel free to reach out to me as well. We still have a number of people out there that are looking for job opportunities that would certainly be, more than happy to come out and assist you in helping your company to move forward and do better in 2015.
Wow. Now we're going into the Christmas season.
Mm-hmm.
What are you expecting God and Christmas to bring you?
Hopefully just, my biggest thing is that I'm blessed with health. That I continue to be healthy, that my family continues to be healthy, my parents, continue to, to live well. That's really my biggest thing. I'm not a big materials person. I just like, the fact that, I've been blessed to live, this long and have a healthy lifestyle, and that my sisters are all healthy. So I just hope that and hope to see my family.
My last question to you, Andre. You've been a great guest, and I just want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
But what would you and how would you like for your legacy to be left?
That's a good question. I think for the most part, my legacy is that, he's someone, or that I'm someone that helped people. I want people to look back and say, I was able to influence their lives in one way or another, and providing them with a positive experience, and being able to hopefully I'm able to be a blessing to someone else.
Awesome.
And that's really all, all I can ask for.
All I can ask and imagine for.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank you so much for being a guest on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
All the information that you've given our viewers is awesome. And I hope that you all take advantage of it and go to his website and help someone else. Pass the information on. That's all that we're really trying to do here, is just help other people to live out their dreams. So thank you, Andre, for being a part of what we're trying to do here on the Jackie Griffin Show.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Hey, it's your girl April J, owner of WPB Networks. Make sure you go to our all-new website, WPBnetworks.com, where you can check out WPB Radio, WPB Gospel, and our all-new pop station, Hot 695. All right, so go right now to your computer, type in WPBnetworks.com for your non-stop interactive radio station.
Welcome back to the Jackie Griffin Show. And in closing, my co-host and I, Darnell Lee, would just like to say a belated Happy Thanksgiving again.
Right.
And we also just hope that, once again, that you were encouraged and empowered by the guests that we had on the show today. All we're trying to do is help you and ourselves, because we don't know everything, but to help you and ourselves to reach our full potential. And all the information that we provide here, we're hoping that not only it's useful for you, but that you also share it with other people. Because at the end of the day, we're all better when we work together, and we want to empower you to go after all of your dreams. God has given you a place here, and we all have something to do on this earth. Don't let anything or anyone stop you from fulfilling your dreams.
On that note,
We'll see you next week on the Jackie Griffin Show.